5, 4, 3, 2. Let's try that maneuver. It moved. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's try it again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Damn, I didn't get a fire out of number 4, Bruce.
Roger, Ed. Let's go to the next position, next initiator.
I'll go numbered 4. That would have been firing number 5.
3, 4, 5. I can't get that to fire.
Okay, Ed, what I meant was the next Geophone line station with the next initiator.
Okay.
So, using initiator number...
Well, the Thumper isn't thumping. They'll be at this for quite some time. We are going to pause now for this message from Gulf.
In the next decade, we'll build 26 million new homes where we have the least room for them. As more of us are forced to live in the space...
1, fire, got a good one. 3, 4, 5.
Roger, Ed.
Hooray, we got one.
That was a good find.
Still getting that black reading in the second one, though.
Up until that point, the Thumper had laid an enormous lunar egg.
I was afraid not to. I told it I was going to break it in half if it didn't fire on that one. Okay, I'm ready for the next one.
Okay. You guys are.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, here we go.
Ed, this is Houston. We would like you to proceed to the central geophone, that is geophone number 2. Select igniter number 11, or make that igniter number 10 by your count, and fire that one off, over.
Instead of the one I'm firing right now?
That's affirmative.
Alright, just about to push the trigger. Uh-oh. As I was afraid of, Bruce, this one's pulled out.
Which one pulled out?
The middle geophone, is it not in the ground?
Okay, if you can re-emplace it, do so.
I shall. This ground is so soft that apparently just a tug on the cable lifted it right out.
These little geophones are about 3 inches long and about an inch and a half
Houston,
wide.
what are you photographing now, over?
Right now I'm taking the distant shot back to the left from the RTG.
Roger, out.
Going down to photograph the side.
Roger.
Rusty, I take it that the most important place right now in mission control is in the science room, where people are clustered around. There's a picture. How many years have these men been waiting for these results, whether some are working or not?
Well, I couldn't say exactly, but I would guess, Sandy, that some of the people there that you see have been working on these experiments for 3, 4, and 5 years. You see there what they're looking at, which is the output of the geophones, which Ed and Al have just placed on the lunar surface and are now
Okay, Houston, number 11 it is.
Can we see it jump?
Yes.
Be your igniter number 10, and you're at the
third
second
channel
geophone.
from the left. If Ed says it goes off, you can count
Okay,
about 7 or 8
that's
seconds and you'll see
Al,
it
I'm ready
jump.
when you are. Go ahead.
Now they're letting everything settle down now before triggering that charge on the Thumper.
Five, four, three, two, one. Mark. Good shot.
Okay, now watch the third
Roger.
channel.
Al, you are released from the constraint for
There it goes.
holding still for
That's
a
the
period of
signal
time
arriving.
prior to and after the geophone
Right at the
thumps.
top.
Yes.
Ed must still abide by the 20-second before and 5-second after rollover.
Should I understand? Okay, Bruce.
We've got a little mock-up here, a
Shepard,
little simulation
still photos
of
of the
the,
LSAT deployment.
what
while
may,
Mitchell,
it may look like up there,
firing
operating
the,
the
Thumper.
Thumper. Mitchell said that the Thumper had more of a kick than he'd expected, and Hartz and I have
3
surmised,
hours,
but only
43
that,
minutes,
that it's
since
because
cabin depressed.
the Thumper is a lot lighter on the moon and thereby would jump up more once it deposits that explosive charge. And there's no atmosphere, which I don't know whether that would impede the waves or not. I think it would make it a little tougher to handle.
I've had a chance to work this thing last weekend down at Cape Kennedy, John, and here on Earth we tested it out on the beach there, and you can just barely feel a reaction from it. It weighs 10, 12 pounds on Earth, so on the moon it weighs 2 or 3 pounds. So I imagine you would get a bit more kick out of it.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. And it also shows that people can work for months, in fact years, on a thing and put the highest priced hardware into it and all the best work in the world, and you carry it all the way up there, and some things just don't work. There are mechanical limitations on all things.
They seem to be getting some readings out of it, so, and I'm sure it'll take them some time to analyze the data, but it looks like they might get a reading.
Now that's, of course, the live picture from the moon, live this day from the surface of the moon, Frau Morrow, about 600 feet away from the Antares spaceship, 3 hours and about 45 minutes after they started the moonwalk.
2, 1, fire. Good shot.
And the Thumper thumped.
Roger.
They're getting their batting average up a bit.
Should have threatened it earlier in the game. All right. Okay, number 12. Five, four, three, two, one, fire. Good shot.
Roger, Ed.
To the devil. And number 13, Houston.
Roger.
That's number 13 out of a total of 21 possible shots with the Thumper, isn't it, Rusty?
Right, and you can hear Ed breathing pretty hard sometimes.
3, 2, 1, fire. No fire.
Okay, Ed, press on to the next station, the next igniter.
Okay.
What is Shepard doing right now, Rusty?
He's
Can we
photographing
get any
the...
of the signals back, Bruce?
That's affirmative, Ed.
He's photographing the deployment
Okay.
site.
I'm on igniter 15.
Al, this is Houston. We need to have you stand still again.
Okay.
And I show that you ought to be on your igniter number 14, Ed, unless that was one you last used.
Okay. Five, four, two, one, fire. No fire. Let me try it once more, Bruce. One. One. Fire. No fire. Okay, I'm moving on.
Roger, move on.
Some of those caps obviously aren't working.
Well, they've been 600 feet away from the lunar lander for about 90 minutes, and they're working with a reluctant thumper, which thumps occasionally. The third Apollo 14 crewman, Stuart Ruza, in the command ship Kitty Hawk, did in fact spot the lunar lander from his perch in space, his orbit in space, 70 miles above the moon's surface. That happened about 10:11 a.m. this morning, so he has seen them. We just haven't seen him. We'll be back in a moment after this word from Gulf.
That was a credit to the school, Tompkins. And just what are you doing, Snow?
Practicing waiting, sir.
Waiting. Ah, all right. Take me for a drive. Yes, sir. Good response. Ashtray's good. Phone. Mr. Albright, that sound. We know it's not the ticking of the clock, don't we, Mr. Albright? Scrimping on the gasoline, Mr. Albright?
Even the finest car is no better than the gasoline it runs on. With Gulf No Knox, cars don't knock. That's one reason it's called No Knox. Try it.
Looking at the flight plan, the thumping that we have observed and the non-thumping we have observed is one of the final things they really have to do there in the science area, science package area. They are now still going to have to, while they're out there, scoop up approximately 9 pounds of soil from that area and then make their way back to the lunar module, hopefully picking up some rocks as they go along the way and doing some photography. But let's go back now to the surface of the moon, live, in color, to see how they're doing with the Thumper.
Roger, Ed.
That makes a couple of good shots in a row, doesn't it, Rusty?
Right, the last two have both worked, and missed two before that, and then the one before that worked, so...
That's enough to give them some results on the experiment, isn't it?
I think so. I would term it a success, so you can pretty much guess with fair accuracy to fill in the missing spots there. It'd be nice if it worked, though, of course.
You mean if it worked every time?
If it worked every time. Sort of like my car.
Okay, go ahead. Five, four, three, two, one, fire.
3 good ones in a row.
These latter shots are firing like it's supposed to, Bruce.
Roger, Ed.
Good, easy pull, and it's not kicking. Didn't seem to be kicking quite so hard. Maybe I'm just pushing on it harder. Okay, Al. Okay, go ahead.
Each time when he says he gets all set, then there's absolutely silence for quite a period of time. Why is that, Rusty Schweiker?
My guess, Roy, is that they have to be...
4, 3, 2, 1, fire. Good shot. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Good, another one.
Roger, Ed.
My guess is, Roy, that they're, since they have to be still for 20
And we
seconds...
only have one left, Bruce.
Before the shot, he's probably counting up to 15.
Okay, how many positions do you have to go?
Well, I'm on 20, and I'm on my last position.
Beautiful.
I'm at the last geophone.
Beautiful.
And, okay. I'm saying we got a shot to spare, but we must have had 22 charges.
Ed, this is Houston. We'd like both of you to stand still for a minute here until we get a calibration curve.
Okay.
And bear in mind that you told me you started with charge number 0, so 0 to 20 is 21 charges, and we come out even.
Yeah, I understand that. I've never seen one fire on 0 before. I've never fired flight hardware before.
Ed and Al, are you both holding still for the calibration here?
Affirmative. Fans and the pumps are running on our plant.
Oh, I wouldn't want you to shut those off.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead with the last shot, Ed.
Okay, here we go. I'm ready. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire. Good shot.
Good show.
4, 5. Okay. Okay, Al has completed the photographic coverage of the all set. And, Juliet, counter number 3, 4. And would you tell us now how much? Counter number 3, 4. And would you tell us now how much longer we have before we have to be back at the Met for close-up?
Roger, counter 3, 4, and stand by.
Good firing on the last Thumper.
Well, babe, not bad batting average. Big league stuff. Hoping to get a few more shots off of that. Okay, now look around for the spot for the map. I think we probably have a little change in strategy here. Hey, Houston,
Al and Ed, this is Houston. With a 1.5 hour extension, you have 18 minutes until you have to be back at the Mesa.
18 minutes, and 3-0 extension is what we have. Is that correct?
That's Roger. You are 3 hours and 56 minutes into the EVA at this time.
Okay, in that case, then we will iron the mortar package at this time before we leave. Proceed back along our track, getting geology along the way.
Roger, we concur.
Rusty Swickard, what are they about to do now?
Hey,
Well, about to leave
wait
the
a minute, I'll
office.
come over and help you with that thing, yeah? Okay, Houston, did you copy that switch number 5 is clockwise and safe?
Roger. I now copy switch 5 clockwise and safe.
And on the way back to the lunar module, they'll be making a geology traverse and collecting
we're gonna
samples
learn the
along the
mortar
way.
I'm on control, safety rides. Hold her down.
They have 18 minutes to get back. That's going to mean a pretty fast traverse, isn't it?
I think probably a little faster than they'd like, but
Al,
it's amazing what you can do in 18 minutes.
Al and Ed, this is Houston. After arming the mortar pack, we'd like you to proceed back in the general direction of the limb and selecting a suitable area en route, collect the comprehensive sample and try to pick up a football-sized rock on the way. Over.
Okay, that's our intent, Houston.
And I'll give you periodic reports on how much time you've got left until you have to be back at the Mesa.
Rusty, if there's one phrase that stuck out in all the briefings over the past month, it's been this football-sized rock. They really want that, don't they?
Certainly sounds that way. From the looks of the site they've landed in, there shouldn't be too much difficulty in finding one. And of course, they should be heading up toward the Doublet crater from their present site. I'm not sure with 18 minutes left whether they'll decide to go in that direction or not.
The walk back to the Antares is a little more complicated than just strolling across the moon and picking up rocks.
Look at relevel it right now. I'm pressing on and back and look for a good spot for this. Okay. Houston, the safety rods are out of the mortar pack.
Roger.
That means that Houston, some months from now, whenever the space agency decides to do so, can set off some bombs on the moon, which will create seismic disturbances, and that machinery they have set up today, plus Apollo 12 machinery, will send the signals about it back to Earth, but no humans will be around when that happens.
John, because there are explosives in that's the reason why they're arming it last. It's just a safety factor. No one is...
Ed Mitchell now arming the mortar pack for firing sometime within the next year.
Al and Ed, mark 4 hours into the EVA.
No one's worried about any of them going off now, but taking every precaution.
With the half-hour extension, we're working into a 4-hour and 45-minute EVA duration.
They have about 15 minutes to get back now.
118 hours, 19 minutes ground elapsed time.
The Mesa being the equipment storage place on the
Alan,
LEM.
would you confirm that you have the extension handle off of the Thumper Geophone anchor?
I will have it when I leave here. No, we don't have it yet.
Roger out.
And as they walk back, they not only have to pick up the rocks, they have to photograph the rocks. They have to tell Houston where they got them. They have to put them into bags. It's a complicated business, and they're, in the time remaining, now some 15 minutes until they have to get back, they won't get many rocks.
The pack is lined with the bubble tangent to the inner ring, and I'm going to arm it down. It's pointed almost
John Chancellor,
almost due north, a little bit to the
here in Houston, this might be a good time
allow you to get that
to
exactly.
bring in an expert on what they're
Roger,
looking
bubble
for.
tangent to inner ring and almost
Down
due
here in
north.
Houston, we have Dr. John Wood of the Smithsonian Astrophysical Laboratory. And Dr. Wood, I wonder if you could give us an idea,
Northwest
look at
side.
this dual picture, what you would be looking for in this particular soil sample collection.
On the mortar pack.
I think I would expect to find that the soil and rocks that exist at this site are quite different from those that have been collected from the Apollo 11 and 12 sites. And I would probably take issue to some degree with Alan Bean's statement earlier that when you got these rocks back in the ship or the spacecraft, you would find they were black. I suspect these will turn out to be a little bit lighter in color and different from those that were collected in the previous missions.
What are you searching to find out from these highland rocks?
Well, this is not really highland material in the strictest sense. When some of us say highland material, we're really talking about the ancient crust of the moon. And that's not what Fraumaro is. Fraumaro is a rubbish heap of debris that was thrown out by a gigantic cratering impact that occurred early in the history of the moon and created the huge crater that we now call Mare Imbrium. So this is debris that was excavated from kilometers deep in the moon and then deposited on the surface. And we hope by collecting some of this material to get a sample from depth on the moon.
Doctor, I suppose everybody asks you this, but it has to be asked. What does this tell us about the creation of the Earth?
It tells us a great deal. The moon, in many ways, is a small-scale model of the Earth as it existed in early geologic times, and it still retains features and properties which were lost on the Earth billions of years ago. They were wiped away by erosion and geologic activity of various sorts that goes on the Earth even to the present day. The moon is essentially a dead planet, and its early history has been much more effectively preserved than on the Earth.
But Doctor, is it also true that even though this is inorganic material, there still is a chemical change or has been a chemical change going on?
There are small chemical changes that occur right at the surface due to the solar wind bombardment and the meteorite bombardment. There are probably more profound changes that still happen at depth because although I said the moon was a dead planet, I think it's probably pretty hot down inside. Are you referring to organic chemicals?
Yes, sir.
Yes, there are small levels of organic chemicals in the lunar soil, which I believe everybody agrees now are not associated with life-forming processes, but are simply a record of the way that carbon behaves in sterile systems, such as the lunar surface. And this is very interesting, too, because it gives us some clues as to how carbon on the early Earth began to behave in a biological way instead of an abiotic way. In other words, it gives us clues as to what carbon was like just before life was created on Earth.
The oldest rocks you found on the moon surface are 4.5 billion. And I think the oldest rocks we found here on Earth in Africa.
3.5. And very few of those and very enigmatic.
Somewhere on this Earth, beneath, very, very much beneath the Earth's crust, are there 4.5 billion-year-old rocks?
It is unlikely. The Earth is a very active machine, constantly churning and destroying itself and reconstituting itself into new rocks. And I would very much doubt that you could find anywhere on or in the Earth rocks which have retained the form that they had and absorbed and become more and more feeble. Now, by studying a section through one of these rocks and seeing how the cosmic ray effects decrease with depth, we have a record of the nature of the cosmic radiation in space, what its energy spectrum is, and how it has varied in the immediate past.
Thank you. If you'd stand by, we'd appreciate it very much. We've been talking with Dr. John Wood of the Smithsonian Astrophysical Laboratory, who's vitally interested in the process that's going on now as the two astronauts move back toward the lunar module collecting rocks and soil samples.
Shepard Mitchell now collecting comprehensive samples.
This is Houston. We show about 8 minutes remaining until you should be at the Mesa to start closeout.
That is our NBC simulation here. We have gone to a considerable amount of trouble to do this because we didn't know if we really would get a television picture from the moon, and we wanted to have these things to show you what precisely it would have looked like on the moon. Fortunately, we've had the pictures, but these, our Studio 8H astronauts look very much like Shepard and Mitchell now. They even look tired, which Shepard and Mitchell undoubtedly look now. They've had a really grueling day. They have accomplished 90% of what they set out to do on the moon. And now they're following what Dr. Wood said. They've found an uncontaminated area on the surface of the moon, and they are scraping away the matter that is there on the top and picking up some rocks, photographing them, labeling them, and they will make their way back to Earth. And we will make our way onward in this program. They have about another 10 minutes before they get back to the LEM after this message from Gulf. By the time they get back, Shepard and Mitchell get back into the Antares spacecraft, they will have been, when they start to pressure up that cabin again, on the surface of the moon about 10 hours. Of those 10 hours, they have spent 4 and will have spent more than 4 hours on the surface. And when we say it was a grueling day, I think you can be accurate in the use of that word.
I think it has it. They've done an extraordinary job, I think. I can't help thinking back to Apollo 11, the first landing on the moon, when Armstrong and Aldrin were anxious to get out. You know, they went out 2 or 3 hours ahead of schedule. And now they've stopped that, but I sort of get the feeling, too, that they're not all that anxious to get back in, that it is a unique experience to be there. And if those life support packs had any more time on them, I'd be willing to wager a little money that they'd be ready to stay out, even though they might be a little tired at this point.
Well, I think there's a danger in fatigue. I think that the doctors would undoubtedly agree.
Oh, I'm sure they would. I was speaking from the astronaut's personal point of view.
Yeah. And well, they have hidden reserves. I suppose anybody who could even get to the moon has hidden reserves.
A few moments ago, they were checking their heartbeats. Alan Shepard's was running in the 70s. While he was exerting himself on the moon, Edgar Mitchell's was running in the 90s. So here's a 47-year-old man who obviously is in excellent physical condition, doing all that work, and his heartbeat probably is about what yours and mine is sitting here.
I think they ought to elect Alan Shepard president of all the 40 to 50-year-olds in the United States. We are a sizable and influential bunch. And now I think we'd like to go back and have a look at what's going on the moon's surface now, where Shepard and Mitchell are trying to pick up some samples of the Earth's surface.
Still having that same picture, which is looking west from the LEM. All that equipment's planted out there about 600 feet.
It's changed a little bit. You can see movement there at the right-hand side.
Small football coming from the same crater. Near the same crater.
Now, the reason that you can't see more of what's going on out there at home, of course, and I would remind you of this only, is that camera, that television camera, was set up on a tripod a couple of hours ago.
Color. It's a large hand sample. It's essentially non-vesicular. Just some very small vesicles.
Roger, we've got 2 minutes. We'd like to get you on back to the setting of the Mesa.
What looks to be a fairly large crystal in that second small football rock, and Al is starting back toward the Mesa now, and I'm on my way to.
Roger.
They walked out from the lunar module across the middle of your picture, and therefore they contaminated that ground. So they swung out to find an uncontaminated ground.
Surface rocks, or rocks compared with the number of surface finds is very, very small, Houston. There's a few boulders lying around, and there's a few rocks around some of the craters, but by and large, it's a powdery surface. Don't run into that crater, Al. Nope, don't worry, babe. No sidewinder action here. Doing pretty well. Yeah, how about keeping your eye on it? Because I am.
4 hours, 14 minutes.
4 more than this when I left the site. Okay, we're coming back down the hill, Houston.
And you saw Mitchell pulling
We've seen you moving across
the cart
TV
behind
camera. And it looks like you've gotten back to the Mesa here with about 10 or 15 seconds to spare on our mark. We do have plenty of time for the nominal closeout, so we don't want you to rush that. Just go through the procedures, and we'll take the timing as it comes. And when you have a moment, we'd like to get an EMU status report.
So that means they're back at their base now, and that they're going to have to, within the next, say, 20 minutes or so, get inside, lock the door, and pump in some air so they can breathe it.
Camera, Houston, I'll turn you around.
We'll get a view of all this.
And we'll put the zoom on about 4.
Have a view.
Shepard, Mitchell returning with 2 small football-sized rocks.
And F-44.
They'll transfer a few things into the...
How's the field of view right now?
It's pretty poor right now.
Okay. Okay.
Whatever rocks and samples they have, they'll take in with them.
Okay, can you elevate the camera a little?
Yeah, I'll have to dig in it. There goes that.
Okay, good. Very good.
Okay. Oh, damn it. Here with my sample bag. What's your UHT handle, sir? I'll use this handle. Fortunately, I don't think more than a little bit fell out.
Sounds like he dropped one of his rock bags.
Mitchell, Shepard apparently switching jobs with Al Shepard pulling the med bag.
Back down to only half full. Okay, Houston, for your information, those documentary location shots of the comprehensive sample taken on JJ, and I'm now showing 4-0.
Roger, JJ 40 for the comprehensive sample area.
Take this, can you? That's right, I was just throw that, but your heads are full too. Okay, good. And on the comprehensive sample, Houston, I'd say we have about 15 rocks and some fines. One way bag is going in the SRC.
Roger, if you take an additional weigh bag and put material from the immediate vicinity of the limb into it to fill up the SRC, we request that you drop a documented sample bag in it as a tag, over.
Okay.
The SRC is a sample return container.
if they'll remember to do that, I put the football-sized rocks in the ETB. Okay, let's see, you put a 7mm camera in the ETB. You went back, yep, it's in there. Did you take out the TDS? No, not yet. Okay, it's probably in the bottom.
And Al, I show that you have a magazine on the 16mm that is totally unused over Delaware.
It's on the map, Bruce. It never made it on the camera.
I think Ed put it on, but didn't start it.
Negative. Oh, I'm sorry. I take it back. We did put it on. Okay, where's that good scoop? Which one, the big one? Works, let me help you with the, let's take the shovel out.
By putting the football-sized rocks in the bag, the crew will take them into the limb with them between EVAs.
Get that little crater out there. It looks like a secondary. Okay, let's go get it. Right out here.
That is our simulation of what it looks like now at what they call the Mesa area of the base there on the moon. They're unloading the wheelbarrow, and you can hear their actual voices over our simulated astronauts. But that's what it looks like if you were down there observing it. And someday when they get better pictures from the moon than we are getting today, although we got remarkable pictures today, things will be seen with that kind of clarity.
For anyone joining us late, that saucer-shaped affair on a tripod in the center of the picture is an antenna sending all this back. The pictures, the words, all the other telemetry.
See, there's a different one color there in there. Take another shovel full. Okay.
They're picking up a little extra bit of rock and soil to fill up the, bring back a sample of that for a control.
Bag number 1, here you go ahead, stick it in there. Okay, put it in. 1 November, 1 November.
Roger out.
1 November is just a number of a bag, one in.
Okay, get it and I'll fill up the SRC, that'll do it very nicely. Okay. There you go. Hey, got her. Okay.
One of our calculators has calculated that since the trip costs $400 million, that figures out that these rocks are costing about $250,000 an ounce.
They're going to ATB.
Al, this is Houston.
Okay. That's too big. Stick that in the ETB also. Go ahead, Houston.
Roger. Prior to terminating the EVA on the TV camera, we will need it set to F44 peak and aligned so that the long axis of the camera is perpendicular to the sun. We'd also like to move the camera so that in this orientation we're still viewing the limb. Over.
That means they keep the camera on, I guess.
I don't know whether they'll keep it on or not. It uses a bit of power. But certainly they can keep it on for them. For a while, make sure everything's in order.
You got the, put the maps in each, no, the maps are right here. No, I haven't done anything yet, I'm just putting the SIC. Okay. The 70mm camera in the ETB, and I'm packing the SRC. Okay. And Houston, we were unable to get all the play bags in the SRC. It's full. They're, putting the small samples from small rocks from the comprehensive sample in the weigh bag along with the 2 small football rocks.
Roger. I understand the football rocks are in one weigh bag and you're adding another weigh bag containing the small rocks.
Right, 2 weigh bags and they're both in the ETB.
Roger.
Get in there.
The small rocks will also be carried into the limb in a weigh bag.
I've got another 70 millimeter camera to go. Not very heavy, but thinking about volume. Okay, SRC's closed. Wow. Okay, so SRC serial 07 Houston contains then the organic control sample, the fines from the comprehensive sample, and the extra fines from that small crater we collected near the lab. Okay.
Roger, we copy those in the SRC.
70 millimeter cameras and 3 16 millimeters. Get the good one up there, okay? Yeah, I got it off. Okay, and the map should be there. And I got the map already. Lens scribe brush assembly. I'll grab it. Okay, I'll move down out to take care of what you're tangled up in the cable. Okay, 44 peak normal. Roger.
Roger, and we might as well go to 25 on the zoom, Al.
That was Alan Shepard coming right up to the camera.
Okay, verifying 44 on the zoom. 44 on the f-stop. 25 on the zoom. On infinity on the... Just a minute, Rod. I got to configure one more camera here. 30 on the focus. We're transmitting, and we're in peak, and we're long axis normal to the sun. How's that?
Roger, Al.
Put the lens cap on or off?
Lens cap off, OFF.
That means they'll have pictures from that camera for quite a while.
Okay, ETB contains 2 medium football rocks. And the small rock from the comprehensive sample contains 2 70 millimeter cams, 3 16 millimeter mags, map, lens, scribe, brush assembly. Yeah, they're all in there. I just checked them. Good show. And the SRC number 2 is on the map. Okay, let's see if we can get you clean. Okay, I think that completes my checklist.
Roger, you copy SRC number 1 sealed.
You tangled up the cable again. The cable. Say again?
SRC number 1 sealed and close-up camera off.
SRC number 1 is sealed and verify the close-up camera is off. Okay, that's gotta be brush. Yeah. Okay.
I haven't heard anyone mention it today.
29
wearing
minutes now.
a new, improved kind of spacesuit. 2 added features. Each of them has in his spacesuit a water supply. It's a little bag of water and has a straw running up into the helmet. He can turn his head and take a drink anytime he wants. And they also have a system called a Buddy Secondary Life Support System, which means they can hook the 2 spacesuits together if one of them has a failure, get them back to the limb. Very complicated arrangement that really amounts to a water hose. Connected to 2 suits.
Now just start the top.
One for convenience and one for
It'll take a
precaution.
while, but we'll get it there. On these gloves here. Pardon? Okay, press on.
Well, they're pressing on. They'll be up in that spaceship in a few minutes, taking with them all of their possessions that they brought out of it and some remarkable specimens that they've gathered that they didn't have when they started this morning, quite a long time ago. We'll go back to watch that action after this message from Gulf.
Clean out pretty well. Yeah. I think we can do best by kicking them off of those. Okay. Because you're going to get back on that fast. All righty. Turn around. Let me get the sun on you. Probably better. Okay. Okay, inside. Okay. Okay, on the inside. You're pretty clean in the torso. Few on the hoses. Not too bad. Most of this stuff seems to be going off really well. Yeah, it comes off if it's not too much rubbed in. If it's just laying there, it brushes off well. Okay, over here. UHT still on? Okay, I'll take it.
Shepard and Metro cleaning themselves off now.
Okay, now then, I don't know. There's much we can do with that. Okay. Yeah, that comes quite a bit of stuff comes off, especially off the back. Yep. It's a lot better.
John, while we're sitting here, I'd like to ask Dr. Wood something.
You're in the S-band cable. Band cable. That's,
Dr. Wood, what is there about that soil that makes it cling so finely to those suits?
Oh, I'm not sure I can answer that. For one thing, it comes in very irregular shapes of a type that might tend to hook into a fabric. For another, being very fine in size, it tends to accumulate an electrostatic charge and cling by virtue of that.
Did you hear Mitchell mention before that I got the impression he thought it wasn't the best possible place to collect all these rocks? Remember what he said?
He said there were very few large rocks. That's right. Mostly just fine soil.
Did you pick up that line? He said in the one football-sized rock they have two. I noticed a crystal. Do you have any idea what that might be?
I'm not surprised to hear it. Quite a few of the Apollo 12 rocks turned out to have quite large crystals exposed in them. Rocks in general do, so I wouldn't know what it would be.
Lay that right there till tomorrow.
I understand they have two small football-sized rocks, which is not equivalent to one large football-sized rock.
Okay. Watch your cable again.
Regulation-sized football rock.
Now hold it. Holding it.
Rusty Swikert, they seem to have a lot of physical bounce now, don't they still, to you?
They certainly do. That last time Al Shepard came out to adjust the camera, he didn't appear to be too tired the way he came out.
Ed, now, Houston, we'd like to get a final EMU status report.
The Met being parked in the sun.
Okay. Well, this EMU is about 4 feet in the air right now. This is L, 3.75. And I'm reading 40%, no flags on low flow, and I feel fine. Okay. I'm 3.75. Reading 20%. And no flags. Minimum cooling, and feel great.
Roger, thank you, Ed.
Got him? Got it. Piece of cake. As he falls flat on his back. take the Mesa with you. How's our buddy the redhead doing, Houston? I think I heard you.
Oh, yeah, we did too, Al. He's doing fine up there, taking photographs, and he just passed by you about 10 minutes ago. Over.
You ever get his big high-con camera fixed?
Okay, negative on the Hicon, and he was able to spot the LEM last pass. Over.
Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, Houston, I'm at the door, ready for ingress. Get ready to open the hatch now.
Roger, Ed.
Mitchell ready to get back inside.
It's open and I'm ingressing.
Going in now.
Okay,
Where's the SRC?
These men landed on the moon 10 hours and about 2 minutes ago.
Did the SRC get up to the platform?
Yeah.
Right.
That's a sample return container.
Man is parked in the sun, 45-degree angle. S-band cover is on it. It looks like it's going to spend the night very comfortably.
Roger.
Okay. TV's ready to go. Okay. Get my hand on the lanyard and away we go. Bum, 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 bum.
4 hours, 39 minutes.
Up on the porch now.
Thank you, Doctor.
Shepard preparing to go up or go inside.
Outside the hatch now. Coming in the hatch. It's all yours. Okay, you have it? I've got it. Okay.
Inside at 4 hours, 40 minutes since cabin depressed.
So now starting up the ladder.
Roger, did you get everything in the 1 ETB?
Yeah.
Roger, very good.
That again is our simulation. That would be Commander Shepard. I call him Commander because he's the commander of that spacecraft. He got out first, as American commanders do, and he got in last. And that is the equipment they've set up on the moon.
For the LAC to come out.